Hello, we are Justin D. Josrin, Brad Hollowell, and Ty Wynn. The economic indicator we are presenting on is the Weekly Mortgage Application Survey and the National Delinquency Survey. Okay, so just a quick introduction. The Weekly Mortgage Application Survey surveys the amount of people applying for or refinancing a mortgage. The National Delinquency Survey is basically the opposite. It surveys the amount of delinquencies and foreclosures. The Weekly Mortgage Application Survey actually contains various indexes. Two of the most important, however, are the index and the refinance index. And we will get to these indexes more in detail later throughout the presentation. But basically, this Weekly Mortgage Application Survey can signal the strength of an economy through the housing market.
Okay, so some history of this economic indicator. It was established in 1990, and then as you can see from the Purchase Applications Index, it was steadily increasing from the 90s to the 2000s. Then in 2001, there was a slight recession, and as you can see, the purchase applications had a sharp downtick, whereas refinancing increased significantly during that one year. Then as the housing bubble continued to grow, building up to the 2008 burst, you can see that the refinances sharply spiked in 2009 after the bubble burst, and this was because housing prices went significantly down and people were trying to get lower payments to get themselves back up above water. And this correlates directly with the chart talking about the decrease in purchase applications over those next few years after the bubble burst. Then in 2010, when we started to recover from the recession, you can see both the purchase applications index and the refinance applications have basically flattened out and started to recover. Moving on to who compiles and publishes this indicator. The Mortgage Bankers Association surveys about 25 institutions made up of mortgage bankers, commercial banks, and thrifts. And these surveys tend to cover about 75% of the U.S. retail residential mortgage volume.
So for some more information about the release of this data, the Weekly Mortgage Application Survey is released every Wednesday at 7 a.m. and it covers the week before, ending on Friday. Meanwhile, the National Delinquency Survey is not as frequent and is released 2.5 months after every quarter. There's not many revisions made generally, and the market sensitivity is medium in regards to this survey, which of course means that the market doesn't react either too strongly or too weakly to this survey. It basically has a moderate impact. This survey is made up of three main indexes: the Market Composite Index, the Purchase Index, and the Refinance Index, which we will get to shortly. In addition to these indexes, the survey also computes the latest average contract interest from various fixed-year mortgages and adjustable rate mortgages. So the way to interpret this indicator is to look at the applications for new homes and refinancing. Obviously, the applications for new homes signals there's an increase in home buying, which signals a strong economy. The applications for refinancing show that there is lower cost mortgages out there, and by purchasing mortgages at a lower rate, there's a savings windfall, which allows consumers to go out and spend more money in the general economy, which again signals a stronger economy. In regards to the index, the Market Composite Index tracks all mortgages combined. So basically it's some combination of the purchase and the refinance index. To break it down even further, the Purchase Index tracks mortgages that are strictly for buying a home, while the Refinance Index is self-explanatory and tracks mortgages for refinancing.
All right, so some recent behavior about this index. As of November 4th, 2016, the purchase index is higher this time than it was last year. And if you can take a look at the composite index, you can see that from 2012 to 2016, there was a huge spike in the index. And you already know that the composite index is a comprehensive index of purchasing and refinancing. So what that means is that from 2012 to 2013, individuals and families seeing that there are a lot of homes on the market for sale for cheap, so they're going out and they're seeing more confidence in the market, so they're buying up these homes. And from 2013 to 2014, there is a drop in the composite index, which probably signals that these homes have all been taken up. And so once these homes have been taken, you can see that the composite index is starting to stabilize from 2014, 15 to 16. So now that the market is currently stabilized, it's going to start increasing at a steady rate. So the implications of this survey on the U.S. economy. So if applications are increasing, it shows that there's a healthy economy because individuals are now going out and they're buying more homes. And if the refinancing index is increasing, it also means that people are now going out and they're refinancing the mortgage, which means that they have more spending, more discretionary income to spend in the market. And as you know, if consumer are buying more, then the market is generally going to grow with it. If delinquencies, on the other hand, if delinquencies are increasing, it can signal an underlying trouble in the economy in general, which means that these individuals who are buying these homes are suddenly not being able to pay their mortgage, which means that there's something wrong, and we just have to figure out what that is. And if they're not paying their mortgage, it also means that they don't have as much money on hand, which means that they're now trying to save more, which can show that the economy is currently contracting in response to this. So as for implications on foreign economies, as you all know, the U.S. economy is one of the largest in the world, and as such is the most influential. And global economies in general are oftentimes completely, or not completely, but very intertwined with one another. So what happens in the U.S. economy will, without a doubt, echo throughout the world. So if the purchasing index is going down, which signals a decrease in the U.S. economy, then that can in turn start to trickle down to other economies as well.
This concludes our group's presentation on the weekly mortgage application survey and the national delinquency